All right, so for this video, we're going to be looking at transformations. So for the first one, we have g of x is x squared minus 1. So the parent function is y equals x squared. So it's a squared function or a quadratic function. Now, there's nothing inside with the x, so this is our parent function right here. So there's nothing inside with it, there's nothing in front of it. However, we do have the minus 1 at the back. So that minus 1 is your k value. So that k value is going to mean that it's going to go down 1 unit. All right, so for the next one, we're looking at the fact our parent function is going to be absolute value. So there are transformations going on around that, but absolute value is our original. All right, so if we look on the inside, so in the inside we have minus 1. Now remember, inside means the opposite because what's with the x, it's the opposite. So normally we would think about minus as going to the left in this particular situation, but because it's opposite, this one's actually going to the right by 1. So I kind of remember that exes, like everybody has an ex boyfriend or girlfriend for a reason. At some point they were crazy enough that you didn't want to be with them. So exes are crazy, so they're the opposite. All right, and then we have in the front, we have times 2. So remember that times 2 in the front is going to be a dilation. So this is a vertical dilation, and because 2 right here, this 2 is greater than 1, that means it's going to be a vertical stretch. So it's a vertical stretch by 1. Or excuse me, by 2. All right, in our next situation, we have our parent function. We have negative square root of x. So our parent function is y equals the square root function. And then we're going to do inside, front, back. So there's nothing on the inside of the square root. So we're going to go to the negative in front first. So that negative is a reflection, and it's a reflection over the x-axis. Remember, reflections, there's 2 types. There's x and y. X is on the outside of the function. The y is on the inside of the function. All right, so we have a reflection over the x-axis. And then at the back, we have minus 2, so that's going to be your k value. So that means that we're going to take that at face value and we're going to go down 2 units. All right, so for our next one, there's quite a few transformations here, but our parent function is going to be x squared. So the original is y equals x squared, so the squared function or the quadratic function. So we're going to start on the inside. So in the inside, we got plus 1. So normally we think plus 1 is going to be to the right, but it's the opposite. So this is actually going to be going to the left 1 unit. So we did the inside. Now we're going to do the front. Now the front, it doesn't matter which one you do first. However, you need to do them separately. So we're going to do the negative and the 2 separately. So the negative is going to be a reflection over the x-axis because it's in front of the function. And then that 2 is a dilation. So that 2 is greater than 1. So therefore, it's going to be a vertical dilation or a vertical stretch. And that's the vertical stretch by 2. And then finally, at the very back, we have our plus 3, that's our k value. So plus 3 means we're going to go up 3 units. All right, so for the next one, we have just x by itself. So this is actually a linear function, or sometimes called the identity. All right, so we have in the front, we have the negative and we have the 3, so we're going to separate those. So the 3 is greater than 1. So we have a reflection over the x. And then after we have a reflection over the x-axis, we have a vertical stretch. And that vertical stretch is going to be by a value of 3. And then at the back, we have minus 2. So that minus 2 is going to be our K value, that up or down. And this is going to go down 2 units. All right, and for this one, we have the absolute value again. So we have absolute value, and this time we're multiplying and have a negative on the inside of the function. So that negative that we have on the inside of the function is going to be a reflection, but now it's going to be a reflection over the y-axis. And then we have times 2 on the inside, so that's going to be a horizontal dilation. So 2 is greater than 1, and it's on the inside, so it's going to be a little bit different. So we have a reflection over the y. All right, so after we have a reflection over the y-axis, because that 2 is greater than 1, it's going to be a horizontal. Now, if you look at the rules on the flow map that you just did, being greater than means that it's actually going to be a horizontal shrink or a compression by the reciprocal. So when we do the reciprocal, instead of being 2, it's going to be by 1/2. Okay, so remember the rule here is when it's horizontal like that, if it's greater than 1, it's a horizontal shrink. And then if it's between 0 and 1, it's a horizontal stretch. And you do the reciprocal value. So this would be by 1/c or by 1/c for that one, just depending on that particular number. All right, and the last thing that we have is plus 1. So that's going to make me go up 1 unit. All right, so then we may have equations that are already transformed, and then we're going to transform them some more. So if I look at this particular one, this one is already, if I clarify here, this one's already going to the left by 5, and then after it goes left 5, it's going down 2. So the transformations that are already there is left 5 and down 2. Now, what they want us to do is they want us to add in new transformations. So they want us to add in a vertical stretch by 3 and then go to the right 3 units. So a vertical stretch means we're going to multiply. So if we're going to multiply, that's going to go here by 3. And then if I go to the right, that's going to go here. Now, you've got to remember that when you go to the right, you're actually doing the opposite. So we're going to subtract 7 here. All right, so if I subtract 7, my new equation is going to be 3 on the outside. And then right here, we have 5 minus 7 is going to turn into minus 2. And then that minus 2 at the back going down didn't get affected. So you apply the transformations to the new equation. All right, so same thing here. This one is already going to the right by 2, and then it's going up 4. So this is already going right, 2, and up 4. Now, what they want us to do with the new equation is they want us to move it to the left by 10, down 2, and a reflection over the x-axis. So left by 10 is going to go here, down 2 is going to go here, and then that reflection over the x-axis is going to go on the front. So we're going to be going to the left by 10. So remember, left is the opposite, so we're going to do plus 10 in the inside. Down 2, we take it at face value, so we're going to go subtract 2, and then there's going to be a negative in front. All right, so this is going to turn into negative, and then negative 2 plus 10 is going to give me plus 8 cubed, and then we're going to do plus 2. All right, so again, I have a reflection over the x-axis, and I'm going up by 1. So we're going up by 1. So we have initially reflection over the x-axis, and up 1. Now, they want us to adjust this by going to the right by 3 and up 9. So the right 3, we're going to have to make that inside the function and then go up 9. So inside the function, we're going to have to go right 3. So remember, right is the opposite, so we need to put minus 3 there. And then up 9, we're going to add 9 here. So the new equation is going to be negative, and we're going to need to use parentheses since we're putting it in the inside. So x minus 3. And then 1 plus 9 is going to give me 10. All right, so for the next one, we have on the inside, we have negative 2. So that negative 2 is going to, we're already going to the right by 2. And then we also have a reflection over the x-axis. So we're going right 2 units, and it reflects over the x-axis. Now, for the new equation that they want to add on, they want us to put a vertical shrink by 0.25 and down 2 units. All right, so remember vertical shrinks, those are going to be multiplication in the front, and then down 2 units, that goes at the back. So this is going to turn into negative 0.25, x minus 2, that doesn't get changed, and then we're going to go down 2, so that's minus 2. And then these are just, can you create your own equation? So we have absolute value, and then for absolute value, we're going to do up 5, and then shift to the right by 3. So if we're going to go up 5, that means that that's going to be the k value, and then to the right, that's the h value. So right means we're going to do minus 3, up 5 means we're going to do plus 5. So this is going to be x minus 3 on the inside, plus 5 on the outside. All right, linear is just x, y equals x. It's a vertical shrink by 2.5. So remember, this is what's being multiplied in the front. So this is going to become y equals 2 over 5 times x. All right, for the next one, we have the square root of x. They want us to do a reflection over the x, and then we're going to do a vertical shift down, let's say by 6 units, because I think there was a typo there. All right, so this is going to, the reflection over the x is going to go in the front, and then down is going to be on the outside. So there's nothing on the inside with x. And then I like to kind of put a little mark to show that the square root is ended. And then down 6 means minus 6 on the outside. All right, so the reciprocal function is 1 over x, and it's a vertical stretch by 8. So this one is a little bit, you could simplify. So technically, it would look like 8 times 1 over x. But if you are multiplying, technically that 8 can get multiplied to the numerator. So if you simplified this one, it could simplify to 8 over x. And the quadratic, y equals x squared. We're going to do a vertical stretch by 5 and a horizontal shift to the left, we'll say by 3. Okay, so the stretch is going to go on the outside, so that's going to be 5 on the outside. And then a shift left or right means this is going to be plus 3, because remember it's opposite. So we're going to do parentheses and say x plus 3 and put the squared on the outside.